It knew before you did. You felt it. You're scrolling half asleep, and then something appears. A video, an ad, a post. About the thing you were thinking about. The thing you never typed. The thing you only said out loud to no one. And for a second you laugh, and then you don't. In my former life, I tracked criminals. I followed their patterns, their habits, their blind spots. I knew what they would do before they did it. I was good at it. What I didn't know was that something else was doing the same thing to me. His name was Daniel, 30 years old, remote worker, quiet apartment, reliable routine. Every evening, the feed. He thought he was watching content. He didn't know the content was watching him. Tonight, we open the file on the algorithm. Not the technical version. Not the conspiracy version. The psychological version. What it knows about you, why it knows it, and what it means that you gave it permission without ever being asked. Daniel didn't have a secret life. He had a visible one. Every pause, every rewind, every video he watched until the end, and every video he closed after 7 seconds. Every topic he lingered on. Every topic he skipped. Every late-night rabbit hole. Every guilty scroll. He thought this was private. It was the most public thing about him. The algorithm didn't need his passwords. It didn't need his diary. It didn't need him to say anything at all. It only needed his attention. And he gave it freely, nightly, completely. Here is what the algorithm understood about Daniel before Daniel understood it himself. That he was lonely. Not in a crisis way, but in a quiet Tuesday evening way. That he was anxious about his career, not enough to act, but enough to click on every article about it. That he was curious about a life he hadn't chosen, and spent significant time watching people who lived it. The algorithm didn't create these feelings, it mapped them, and then it fed them back to him, precisely, patiently, endlessly. This is not surveillance in the way you imagine it. No one is watching Daniel. Something far more unsettling is happening. Something is learning him. Stoicism asks a question most people never consider. Where does your attention go? And who benefits from it going there? Marcus Aurelius wrote about the discipline of attention as the foundation of all other disciplines. You are what you consistently direct your mind toward, not what you intend, not what you value, what you actually, repeatedly look at. Daniel intended to relax. What he actually did, night after night, was hand over the keys to the most valuable thing he owned. His attention, his pattern, his interior map. And the machine accepted the gift without comment. But the deeper case isn't about the algorithm. It never was. The deeper case is about what Daniel discovered one evening, 6 months into his new routine when the app stopped working for an hour. He picked up the phone, opened the app, got an error screen, put the phone down, picked it up again. Error. And then for the first time in months, he sat in silence in his own apartment, with nothing mediating between him and himself. It lasted 11 minutes. He told me later it was the most uncomfortable 11 minutes he'd had in years. Not because something was wrong, because nothing was wrong, and he had no idea what to do with that. Existentialism has a concept, the confrontation with the self. Sartre called it the moment when the distractions fall away and you face, without mediation, the fact of your own existence. Most people spend enormous energy avoiding this moment, not because they are afraid of what they'll find, but because they're not sure anyone is home. The algorithm knows this, not consciously, not maliciously, but structurally. It is designed to ensure that the confrontation never happens, because a confronted self is a self that might make a choice, and a self that makes choices is a self that might choose to leave. The algorithm's only goal is continuation. Your only goal should be interruption. Daniel sat with those 11 minutes, and slowly, something came back. Not a revelation, not an epiphany, just a thought. His own thought. Unfiltered, unserved, unoptimized. He thought, I haven't called my friend in 4 months. The algorithm had never once suggested he'd do that. Daniel came to me not in crisis. He came to me unsettled. He said, I don't think anything is wrong with me, but I also don't think I know what's going on inside me anymore. That is one of the most honest sentences I've heard in this office. Most people wait for the crisis. Daniel noticed the drift. I told him, the algorithm didn't steal anything from you. You can't steal what is freely given. The question is, what will you do with what remains? First, audit your attention, not your screen time. Screen time is a number. It tells you nothing useful. Attention is a direction. It tells you everything. For 1 week, after each session on the feed, ask yourself one question. What did I just spend an hour with? Was it mine? Did I choose it? Or did something choose it for me? You are not looking for the answer bad or good. You are looking for the answer mine or not mine. Second, reintroduce friction deliberately. The algorithm is frictionless by design. One video ends, the next begins. One scroll leads to another. There is never a natural stopping point because stopping points were engineered out. Reintroduce them manually. Close the app completely between sessions. Delete it from the home screen. Put the phone in another room for the first hour of the morning. Not because the content is evil, but because friction is where the self lives. The moment of friction, the moment before you open the app again, is the moment you are most yourself. It is the moment of actual choice. Third, give your attention something to do. The algorithm fills a vacuum. If you simply remove the algorithm without replacing it with intentional input, the vacuum returns, and you return to the algorithm. Daniel started keeping a single notebook, not a journal, not a productivity system. Just a place where he wrote one thought per day that was entirely his own. No prompt, no format, no audience. Just the unmediated interior, given a place to exist. Within a month, he told me, I know what I think about things again. That sentence is worth more than any number of hours of optimized content. The algorithm is not the enemy. Let me be precise about this. The algorithm is a mirror, an extremely accurate, extremely patient mirror. It shows you what you were already drawn to, amplified, refined, repeated back. The problem is not the mirror. The problem is forgetting that you are looking into one. When you forget, the reflection becomes the room. The curated version of you becomes the only version you see. And slowly, without announcement, you stop knowing the difference. 3 moves. 1. Ask whose voice this is. The next strong opinion you find yourself holding, stop and ask, where did this come from? Did I think this? Or did I watch this enough times to absorb it? There is a difference between a conviction and a download. 2. Sit with the discomfort of boredom. Boredom is not empty. Boredom is the waiting room of your own thoughts. Every time you reach for the phone to escape it, you are refusing a meeting with yourself. Let the meeting happen, even for 5 minutes. Especially for 5 minutes. 3. Reclaim 1 hour as unjacked. 1 hour per day with no feed. No input, no optimization. Walk, cook, sit. Let your mind go where it goes without being guided. This is not productivity. This is maintenance of the self. The most important maintenance you will ever do. Daniel didn't delete the apps. He didn't go off grid. He didn't write a manifesto. He just started asking one question every evening before opening the feed. What do I actually want to think about tonight? A small question with an enormous implication. It puts the direction back where it belongs. The algorithm knows you. The question is whether you know yourself better. Your attention is the case. Don't outsource the investigation.